Hi, it's Hunter from Screenfeed. Today we're going to be looking at getting a Google Calendar on a screen. We'll need a few things for this. The first thing that we'll need is a screen. It can be a smart TV or a not so smart TV. It can be a projector, just some way of displaying your content. The second thing that we'll need is a player. Now it could be a standalone box like this one, or it could be an app on the smart display. The last thing, and arguably the most important to this project, is calendars from Screenfeed. To get calendars from Screenfeed, go to screenfeed.com, choose Browse Apps, and type in calendars. There it is right there. If you scroll down, there's a button for Try It Out. This will let you have a trial of calendars that does not have any restrictions on it. You can connect your Google Calendar and follow along with everything we're doing in the video today. You do have to set up a Screenfeed account to access a trial. Once you've signed up for the trial or you've subscribed, go to log in and you'll see a dashboard. In this dashboard, we're going to set up our feed by clicking on Configure Feeds. Look for calendars. I happen to have quite a few calendars here. Yours will not have feeds in that section if you haven't created any calendars yet, and we'll click Create a Feed. There are several delivery methods, each have their own positive aspects, but for this project, what we're choosing is HTML. Now, the screen behind me is landscape or horizontally oriented, so I'm going to choose the 16:9 shape. You may want to have a vertical TV or fit this calendar into a zone. All of those are possible by choosing different shapes. If we scroll down, we have the option to choose a style. I can choose a dark style or a light style, and this I'm going to choose light. You could choose dark. It's all a matter of preference. And if we scroll down a little bit further, we've got the different views that you can choose. Now, each view has its use. The first one, agenda, is great for showing everything that might be happening in today. So you have a jammed packed schedule. Agenda is great for showing a lot of different events that are going on in a single day. Day is really good for showcasing events that might overlap. Even in the thumbnail, there's all-day events and then other events stacked on top of each other. It's a wonderful way to show graphically how your day looks and those events and how they're stacked up. The event view here is really based on a place, right? It's what's happening right now in this space. Often it's something that's used for example, a room sign. What's happening in this conference room right now? And then the last one, the one that we'll choose, is week. And what week gives us is maybe more of what you think of when you think of calendars. It's all the events stacked up for a 7-day week period, or you can even scale that down to 3, I believe. If you have a calendar connected already, you can select, but we're going to click Add New Calendar to go through the calendar add process. We're going to select our data provider, in this case, Google Calendar, and it will ask for us to sign in with Google. Now, if you haven't signed in with Google already, it will ask you for permission. This gives the connection authorization for pulling the data in that the user, that'd be you, can read. So I'm going to choose my name, but I've already made this connection, so I'm just going to hit continue. So this is what you'll see. It'll ask, are you okay giving Screenfeed access to view these items in your account? You can say continue. Now that I have my my calendar authorized, I can go down here and see all of the calendars that I have associated with my Google account. Now this could be coworkers calendars that they've given me access to read. It could be secondary calendars that I've created, or even calendars that I've subscribed to. I'm going to choose our design test calendar. Save selection. If I scroll down even further, I can customize the style of my calendar. So if I pick a certain font that I like. I can adjust colors. Maybe I want a green calendar instead of a blue one. Make changes to how it appears. I also can hide the locations in the events, update the logo background. Now, all of these controls are applicable to the week view. If I go back and change the view, there may be more options here. For example, if it's agenda, I might be able to adjust the time frame versus the days that I want to display. I can say I want a 24-hour clock. I can also set a fallback message. Now, a fallback message is if the calendar has no events in it. However highly unlikely that a whole week would have no events in it, it is possible. And if there is nothing, then this fallback message will display on the screen. I can adjust the title, the animation quality, and also upload a logo. I'm going to do that. Let's get a logo here. We'll do blue. There we go. So I've got my logo. I don't really like that black, so I'm going to hide the logo background here. Okay. Now that I have it looking the way that I want, I can scroll down and choose the language. Now the language does not translate my events. It's just for the title information for the calendar. And finally, I'm going to name my feed. We'll call this Hunter's Google Calendar. Now that we have our calendar feed URL, we're going to go to the next step, which is setting up a player. For this project, I will be using a Brightsign unit. This is something that you can buy for pretty inexpensively, and they do come with some default software which allow you to send presentations to the player. They have some online software as well that you can use, subscribe to, and push from afar. But this is one of many players that Screenfeed content works with. So this is just for this example, but you can use this process of creating a feed and applying it to different types of players, or even, like I said before, apps on a smart TV. All right, here is my Brightsign. This is a Series 3. This is an older Series Brightsign. There's Series 4, which is out, and Series 5, which is out at the time of this video. I'm just going to use this in the example because it allows us to show that older players do work with our calendars. So if we take a look, Brightsign does require you to have a micro SD card inserted into it to operate. You can take that and plug it in, and then on first boot, it's going to have some language for you to adopt that into BSN Cloud. You can do that and pull it into your network. The players can be set up where you can push to them from the cloud, you can push to them on a local network, or you can do a manual connection. I prefer the networked or the cloud version. Now, if you're doing networked, you don't need to take much action past this and getting BA connected installed on your computer. So let's take a look at the ports. So to start with, there's the micro SD card. I put that in. You saw that earlier, HDMI and network. I'm gonna do a little flip. And on the back, I've got a bunch of ports here, but what we're gonna be using in our example, ooh, that's dusty, is the power. So this is an older power source. See, it's got that 3-prong. Some of these other ports, you're going to see other players, you're going to see a power port that's similar to maybe what you're used to seeing with powering electronic devices. So to start, let's get it plugged into power. We'll go to our nice power brick, plug that into our outlet. We've got our 3-prong. This actually clicks in, you can hear it. Click. And on this side, we're going to go out to the TV, our HDMI. We'll get that plugged in. And then we need a network source. So I've got Ethernet here. There is some wireless capability with some of these players. So I'm going to just go and plug it in. So now that the player is plugged in, we'll see on the TV some language to adopt it, and we'll go through the process there. Download Bright Author Connected and get going with our calendar on our screen. All right, so our player is all set up. We see, congratulations, your player is set up. Now, Brightsign has a couple ways of controlling the player.
The first few ways are through Brightsign's network itself. You can directly, if you're on the same internet connection as the player, you can use what's called a networked approach, which you use BA connected software downloaded to your computer to send your presentations to the player. The other one is BSN Cloud, which is called Content Cloud. This is using their online software to push to the player from afar. So you could be in a completely different location and say, I want to change the presentation on the player. And then the third way is through a third-party software. There are a lot of different content management softwares out there that interact with Brightsign players and actually kind of just take over the software on the player and allow you to do things like set up a playlist, see proof of play, whether or not something's playing on your screen. So there are options out there for you for this type of player. But I have to say, this is not the only player out there. So what we're trying to accomplish right now with getting Google Calendars on the screen can be done with other players if you want. But now that our player is set up, it has information for us, and we can use either that. What we'll use for this example is a local networking approach. So all we have to do is note right here that IP address that's there, and maybe we can just get lucky and have our player software recognize that the player's on the network. So the first thing that we'll do here is go to brightsign.biz, and if you go to download the software, what we're looking for is a software called Bright Author Connected, or BA Connected. You can see that right there. It's available for both PC and Mac. Now, the Bright Author over here that isn't BA connected, that's an older build that is they still keep up, but it's only for PC. So if you have a Mac, Bright Author Connected is the way to go. So Bright Author Connected looks something like this. This is the dashboard version, and you can see up here you can connect to BSN Cloud and send your presentation up to the cloud and send it over to the devices. But we're using a local networked approach, which means that we are going to use this software to control that player. So the first thing that we're going to do here, now that we have this software downloaded and installed, is to create a new presentation. From here, we're going to choose our player type, what our output resolution is. So 1920 by 1080 is horizontal, our target frame rate, whether or not it's landscape, and we got to give our presentation a name. So we're going to call this My Google Calendar, and we'll click Start. You can do a lot with Brightsign, multiple zones and all sorts of interactivity options. But what we're doing is very basic programming of a presentation to run all day, every day. So we're going to click on this green zone 1, and down below this space, zone space, is widgets. Now, there are several widgets, including live feed, stream, and HTML5. Now, if you remember, we chose HTML as our delivery method earlier. So we're going to take HTML5, drag it in, and then we have to go back to get our URL from our Screenfeed account. So here it is. If you don't have it open, that's okay, because we went in the dashboard to feeds. You can do this up at the top, and you can find your Google Calendar and copy the URL from there as well. So let's go back to the Brightsign software, and we've got HTML selected. We're going to select all of the HTTP and paste in the URL. Now, why do we do it that way? Why not just paste it in? Well, every so often, it'll keep that HTTP header and double it up, and then it won't show anything in your presentation. And just as a matter of course, something that I like to do is I like to change it from HTTP to HTTPS. For some reason, the Brightsign player likes that better. So we're going to hit save. and then we'll hit publish. Now, we should see on the left an option for the device. Brightsign will search for your device on the local network. So we're going to do a little refresh, select. So now we have that device selected. And then we have this set, if you look on the right, to be active all day, every day. That's fine for our purposes right now. And so we're going to hit publish.
So here we go. It's loaded my calendar on the Brightsign. You can see my logo showing up down there. And you'll see if, let's take this Tuesday, for example, if there's more events happening in a day than can fit on that space on the screen, it will scroll through those automatically for me so I won't miss any events on my calendar. Now that I have my calendar up on my screen, maybe I want to make changes. Maybe I don't want to see week view, but agenda view, or change the theme. The nice thing is I can go to screenfeed.com, under Hunter's Google Calendar, right, find my feed name, and click Edit. Now I can make as many adjustments as I want. Let's just switch the theme. And when I hit say Update Feed, this URL stays the same. So I don't need to go into Brightsign, don't need to recreate create a new presentation, or pull in that HTML widget, or copy and paste to go through the whole publishing process. All I need to do is adjust the feed, and the URL, once it's loaded on the player, will show the content changed on my screen. So essentially, it changes these quickly, and they show up on the screen. So there it is, Google Calendar on a screen. If you are wanting to try it out, go to screenfeed.com, find the Calendars app and browse apps and try it out for yourself. We have a lot of different content on Screenfeed that you could try as well. If you're interested in Brightsign, the website's brightsign.biz. There'll be a link somewhere associated with this video for you to follow as well. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, we'll have other use case videos coming out, so stay tuned for more content.